All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of I Can Do This All Day. I'm Dan, the part-time Avenger. With me, as always, is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. Today we're digging into a series of movies or a subject matter that we have both agreed is very painful in the past. And if you're wondering what that is, it is the DC Cinematic Universe. We are in the years before James Gunn fully takes over. Hashtag, I'm kind of excited. And today we're going to talk about the newest for late 2022 DC release that actually went to theaters and they just didn't drop it home because it was terrible. And that is the Dewey Johnson driven superhero smash them up in the rocks and fly around and electrocute people classic Black Adam.
Which I feel like they should have said African American Adam. I don't know. Maybe it should have just been more politically correct.
See, I feel like the politically correct line on those two phrases flips around a lot. What they did is refer to the color of his suit, not the color of his skin.
Maybe it should have been Middle Eastern Adam. I don't know.
I feel like there would have been a bit of an overreaction to certain political groups in the United States. They freaked out about a panda movie that expressed a woman's opinion on her change of life. God forbid you give them a Middle Eastern superhero. Oh my God.
I know, right? That's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm just poking fun of it all. Like, I just recently watched Bruno, the Sacha Baron Cohen movie, and the part where he's on the fake TV show and he says he adopted an African baby and he gave him a traditional African name, OJ, and the audience just freaks out, and then he just keeps on referring to them or to the baby as an African American, and the audience like, no, it's Africans. Like, no, that's racist. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my obscure reference to Sacha Baron Cohen's genius and his comedic talent, but yeah, I think I might refer to him as African American Adam throughout the entire thing, just to poke fun of everything. But yeah, so DC, as you can tell by a lot of my background and stuff that I collect, it's mostly Marvel, and I love Marvel. Not a huge DC fan, but I am repping a Batman shirt. And if you take a look over my shoulder here, I also have Peacemaker as a action figure. So I'm open to it. Let's talk about Black Adam. So have you ever heard of this character, read the comics, anything?
So I was a Marvel kid when it came to comics, other than some Batman comics. I did not get into like Shazam as a comic, or what it when we were kids was called Captain Marvel.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, no, it is. Funny enough, it started as Captain Marvel before the other Captain Marvel, which I think it's Marvel apparently on the other side. But either way, did not get into it. Did not like the idea of a little kid yelling Shazam and then turning into a superhero. Reminded me of the Simpsons episode where Homer like hallucinates Gomer Pyle going Shazam.
That's where that's from. Yeah. I was wondering.
Pyle Shazam. Okay. Yeah, no, it's a Simpsons reference. And it was just like, no, I'm good on Shazam, bro. Give me some X-Men comics. So did not do much background on this. No spoilers, I guess, for this. Spoilers for everybody else who's listening to this, by the way. Like, if you're like, oh, should I go see that Black Adam movie? We're going to spoil the whole thing. So if you want to know, you probably shouldn't listen to us.
Want to hear it? Here it goes.
Yeah, ready. So did not, but I can't say no to a good rock action movie. Um, I feel like anything you put Dwayne Johnson in, he at least demands some level of okayness. He's like the modern day Schwarzenegger. Uh, it's gonna be kind of okay.
Very funny that you said Schwarzenegger because as I was watching this movie, there was a lot of Terminator 2 vibes that I picked up.
Oh, so many.
We'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah, for Black Adam, same thing. I had never really heard of the character until maybe a few years ago when The Rock was championing to be Black Adam, and I was like, okay, all right, who the hell's Black Adam? And then I saw the costume and it's like, oh, so that's a lot like Shazam. And even at the time, I was like, who the hell is Shazam? And yeah, I read the comics? Absolutely not. I read all Marvel all the time. And I did pick up a few Superman and Batman comics. And with the exception of the one Batman comic, everything from DC was pretty lame. It was pretty freaking weak. So
Which Batman comic?
it was the intro to Bane and Killer Croc. So it was an awesome comic to pick up. So it's the first time that you ever see Bane, and he whips the shit out of Killer Croc. And it was just a very cool comic. And
so it's a Nightfall series. It might have been the opening.
It might have been like the opening.
I'm a big Nightfall. That's like that's my go-to Batman series. Like some people like the Joker one. Some people like the BVS storyline, the Frank Miller one. I'm all about Nightfall.
I think everyone for our age that was into comics, whether you were into Batman or not, fell into that storyline. It's like, oh, cool! Check out.
Everybody had that Batman 500 that folded out.
Batman 500.
Yeah, buddy.
I wanted to steal that comic from someone, but I actually bought it from somewhere. So, yeah. So let's go into the movie itself.
Well, wait. Did you at least see the Zachary Levi Shazam movie?
I did.
Okay.
And it was fun. My expectations were very low.
And I was hoping this wasn't kiddish like that. Like, not a bad movie. One of the better DC movies, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like, it aimed at an age group that I am glad this movie didn't.
I think with the exception of Wonder Woman, which I was really, really impressed with, everything else was kind of meh. I will say that I did enjoy Batman v Superman. I was just, hey, you got the two biggest DC and really two of the top three comic book stars in one movie for the first time ever. And I was pretty jazzed about it. And the fact that they introduced Wonder Woman, who I didn't give a shit about, it made me excited to see Wonder Woman in the movie and excited to see her in future movies. So I thought that was pretty sweet. Yeah, Shazam, not bad. It was fun. It was geared towards a younger audience. And me being the comic movie lover, I enjoyed it. It wasn't anything that I strongly disliked. There was only a few. And if you check back one of our DCEU rankings episodes, I think you can tell which movie that was. But I'll let you go back and take a look for yourselves.
Yeah, please go listen to our podcast to get the answer to that.
Yeah. You have to pick up the myth and the folklore of I Can Do This All Day podcast. Enjoy it, bitch. Enjoy it. How did you see the movie? Give me the circumstances. What were your thoughts going into the movie theater?
In 8 p.m. Sunday night after we put my son to bed, I ran out and just grabbed a popcorn and a soda to go sit in, and was about 5 or 10 minutes after showtime walking in, and I got an extra 15 minutes after that of previews, and then I was good to go.
Most important question to me is, yes, you buttered your popcorn, but what type of soda, or as we like to say, pop, did you get?
I'm a gross person, so I went with the ginger lime Diet Coke, which is something you can only get at the specialty Coke machines. I even refilled on the way out because it's really fucking good.
Coca-Cola freestyle. Love it. Shareholder, Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola, holler at your boys at the I Can Do This All Day podcast. We will continue to drink your stuff and support you.
No,
But hey, thanks for supporting my company since I own it.
no problem, Warren Buffett Jr.
I really had a hard time getting excited about the movie because overall, from everything that we've seen from DC, it was just one of those things where it's like, is this movie going to matter? Does this even fit into any whatever type of DC universe that they have right now? Is this going to matter? The one thing that started to get me excited about it was, if you've been living under a rock recently, just so you know, Henry Cavill's back. Henry Cavill is confirmed and gone out on social media saying he's back as Superman. And I had heard that he had also made an appearance in this movie. So I was like, oh, all right, Cavill, he's our Superman. I'm super excited about that. And I know you like Henry Cavill as Superman.
I enjoy Cavill. Like, I would take Cavill over that. But it's a modern thing. Yeah, love me some Cavill. Stoked he's back. Would have been pissed to see somebody else. Brandon Routh, as pretty as he was in it, like, I'm good. I was excited because the Lex Luthor in the Brandon Routh movie was exactly who I thought it should be.
Yeah, that was a good one. I didn't mind Routh, but at the same time, he was just playing Reeves 2.0.
Yeah.
Or Christopher Reeve. Is it Reeve? Christopher Reeve?
Reeve. Yeah, it's Reeve. But Kevin Spacey in that movie.
Kevin Spacey was awesome. You know what? It's as if he has like this evil inside of him that
I know. Well, no, apparently courts believe that he does not.
Okay.
The courts rule differently. But he was, you got Gene Hackman, then you got him, and then Jesse Eisenberg. Like, why is Zuckerberg Lex Luthor? Oh, it makes sense now.
Does it? I don't know.
I mean, maybe Elon should be Lex Luthor, but we'll see that. We'll see about that. Our Twitter might get shut off for that comment, but who knows?
Oh, speaking of social media, so for those who have not gotten a chance to check out some of our tasty morsels, which are little short clips from our show, I've made the jump. Yes, the I Can Do This All Day podcast is actually on TikTok as well. And so you can see some of those tasty morsels. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. What's next? I mean, we're going to join Truth Central. That's it.
We may skip Parlor. I don't think I could deal with Yay.
Oh, man, that's a crazy story. But not on this podcast. We're not talking about that shit.
We might talk about Kanye later.
True. Oh, yeah, we will. Damn it,
he's gonna come up. It's gonna come up.
He will.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oops.
So, Mark, why don't you take a dive into the movie and kind of lead us through this possibly good DCU movie?
I mean, let's just run cast real quick, right? I don't think I have anything bad to say about The Rock. I think that he came to this role, attacked the role, and fucking loved it, right? No problem with the casting, no problem with the look, though The Rock's looking a little old these days. The Rock in big screen 4K, I'm like, oh, dude, no, a lot of people hit you in the face, didn't they?
I mean, he's 50 something.
He is, and he's more yoked than I'll ever be in my life, regardless of if I started taking steroids right now. Like, I could chew steroids and testosterone for 10 years and not even be close to the yokage.
When you're clanging and banging in the Iron Paradise.
Dude, that's electrifying is what that statement was.
Damn right.
Perhaps the most electrifying statement to be made on this podcast. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think we'll talk a lot about how he's interaction, but I liked his approach. Though I did it's funny you say this, and we'll talk about some of the call outs to some of the classic movies, but he was less, The Rock from Rampage. Like, he definitely had a little bit of a different persona. He wasn't, the same person as he has been in the past. He gave it a little bit of Arnold in this movie, right? Just a little bit of, you know, uh, um, not understanding, and just it was good. I thought he acted well. That's what I thought. I thought
Interesting.
he acted well.
Let's go into the Arnold. I don't think it was a little bit of Arnold. I think it was carbon copy, Arnold, Terminator 2.
See, the reason you go Terminator 2 is two reasons. One, because you saw the burnt out ass skulls from when he's fucking electrocuting people. Again, the most electrifying man in the DCEU, which is really ironic. And the back and forth with Muhammad Amir, who played Karim, and him, as he's like teaching him up on catchphrases and what to say when he whacks a dude.
So what you're saying is carbon copy of Terminator 2.
Oh, it was 100% lifted, but I think that it was a respectful callback, not just it was an enthusiastic kid who was a huge superhero fan talking about catchphrases and kind of making fun of the fact that all superheroes have catchphrases.
Yeah, it was fun, and you know what? I think how come we automatically went to Terminator 2 and Arnold, and we did not think of Sylvester Stallone and Samaritan? Why is that?
Oh, possibly because that movie sucked. If you want to know how bad that movie sucked, back catalog. That's not a 2-hour podcast. That's barely a 90-minute podcast.
It's such a fun episode, though, too, and such an awful movie. Such an awful movie.
Yeah. No, but there was some training. There were a lot of callbacks in this movie, though, to some classics. They did the staircase scene, which is done in a few different movies, right? The Judge Dredd, the newer Judge Dredd, they did the whole staircase thing. The whole movie was a staircase scene, basically. And Winter Soldier did a staircase scene where they did all those different angle shots. This movie went back to the staircase multiple times. It was a center set piece, which I thought was a little excessive, but in general, they did a lot of that. And then you also got him like fighting jets like he's Iron Man, you know, like it was good. There was a lot of good callbacks to it, I thought. They even, when Hawkman's leaving his palatial estate, they did the fucking X-Men thing, and his shit came out of the backyard, right? His X-Wing or his X-Men jet came out of the backyard. And if there wasn't a jet that's CGI'd to be more like a toy where the front comes off and they get their own little pod, I don't know what there ever was, man. That was a callback to the old Super Friends toys from back in the day.
So can we pause for a second and just talk about who the hell is Hawkman? And do you know who he is?
No clue. You know who he is? He's DC Batman, apparently. Like that is who he is. I agree that I have no fucking idea. This felt like I felt about the Pierce Brosnan, the Hawkman character, Aldous Hodge, the Noah Centineo, the Atom Smasher, and what was her name? Cyclone, Quintessa Swindell. All their characters felt like Negasonic Teenage Warhead from Deadpool to me. Like, yeah, huh? Okay. The only reason I remember Dr. Fate is, do you remember when DC and Marvel did a crossover?
I do.
Like the Amalgam comics. I remember Doctor Strange Fate being a comic. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember the cover art being cool. Yeah, he seems like Bruce Wayne meets Sam Wilson.
So the only reason I know of Hawkman, I think he was in the DC TV show Legends of Tomorrow, maybe. I've only caught like a few episodes of that. And I believe I started watching the Flash WB show, and that's actually pretty entertaining, pretty fun. And I don't know a lot of these people from DC, and I was never really a huge Flash fan, but every episode is like a new bad guy of the week. And it's funny because like my son, obviously he was raised on Marvel. I'm raising him right, and even my wife is more of a Marvel fan. Everyone that comes up every week is like, so did they just take everyone from Marvel and then just put them in DC? Is like, well, actually,
It's kind of the other way
Marvel,
around,
yeah,
but
Marvel lifted a lot of those characters, but the names are so freaking awful. But Hawkman, I believe he's just in one of the episodes that I started watching, and yeah, I don't know much about him. I don't know his powers. I have not felt the need to look him up,
no.
and I'm
I
okay
got
if I
enough.
don't.
I got enough from what they gave us. He's a rich guy, apparently. He's got a palatial mansion with a really fancy garden that opens up into an airplane hangar. He had a really nice airplane, and he's like I said, he's like Bruce Wayne, Sam, and maybe a little Tony Stark in there. He's got all these things. It is what it is, but he wears a really angry bird mask and has a magic mace. And he can fly, he can fly, he can fly. Though those wings that are made of some level of metal have no engineering like secrets. There's no jetpack. It makes no sense. But okay, we're good. It's magic.
Yeah, a lot of this is magic because there is absolutely no backstory as to how some of these characters have
No, like I
powers.
said, it's like that Negasonic teenage. I'm like, I have no idea who you are, but okay.
But at least there's a reason as to why those people have powers, right? Because they're mutants, and it's like
There you
well
go.
known. Like mutants have powers. These people, you don't know what they are, who they are, and I think what they're called, not
The
enhanced. That's a
Justice
Marvel thing.
Society.
It's Justice Society, but whatever they're metahumans, is that the name for the DC people? They're like
Oh
metahumans.
yeah.
So they're metahumans, but I still don't know how they got their powers. I wish I would have seen like a little montage because you know what? This
Well,
movie was
one of them's
fun.
hereditary, right? Because Henry Winkler's nephew.
Yeah, the fawns just can grow
Dude,
really big, apparently.
I'm not gonna lie. This movie, the beginning part was awesome, right? The visuals on the opening where they set up the hateful dude and the Black Adam character, or the Tet Adam character, um, visuals were amazing. And then they flip over and they throw Henry Winkler into it. I'm like, oh, okay, they're swinging. Like they're bringing in some people that I actually enjoy. They brought in the Amanda Waller character. They tied in all of these other movies like that I did not think they would. Um, they did what I thought was pretty solid on
So
that regard.
with Amanda Waller being back, so she was in charge of Task Force X, which is just like the group of cons that, like
Mhm.
we don't care if they die or whatever. Now she's also in charge of the Justice Society and basically any other metahuman or alien because apparently she has contacts with everyone now. That's where it was a little bit confusing to me as
I
to
mean, they're
why that's
trying
the
to Nick
case.
Fury her. Let's be honest.
Right. But you know what? Like I liked her better as being the I will do whatever's necessary to save this world. And I don't care if my hands get dirty or these people die. Where sacrifices need to be made, and whatever those sacrifices are, I'll gladly make sure that I'm the head of that. And so it was very confusing to see all of a sudden, oh, there's a group of heroes now that are nice and happy, good spirited, and plucky, as opposed to like down on their luck criminals that just
They
don't give a
signed the
fuck.
Wachovia Accords.
I wish there was just a little bit more of an explanation on that. But the
The
team,
scary part of the Amanda Waller thing is the later part we'll talk about.
yeah, the
How do you have
team,
access to that?
right? I mean, she apparently has access to everyone now. So but
Mm,
we're not even going to go into it.
nope.
I'm not picking on it. That's my questioning in my head as I'm looking back at everything. But
God damn it. I didn't want
Adam,
to question it. I just wanted to like the movie.
Adam Smasher, So what about that character? Um, I mean, he literally says, "I get big." That's his power, and
Yeah,
that's it.
no,
That's
while
his.
he's just trying to hit on the chick the whole time.
Yeah,
Like that's it. He's trying to Adam smash something.
it was interesting because his costume was, and there's been references to this online and everything. Like his costume looks exactly like Deadpool, just a
Ant-Man.
different color.
Oh, the head thing, excuse me. The head thing looks like Deadpool. The rest of it looks very Ant-Man.
Sort of, but it's like the same texture of
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool suit. Like
Yeah.
everything is like spot on. So yeah, that was kind of interesting, and I'm not. Hey, there's only so many ways that you can dress up a super suit, so I'm not picky about that. But I was just curious as to like he obviously has like no combat or field skills whatsoever, and so it's just kind of interesting that like, hey, you go after this guy who's way more powerful than you and could rival Superman. I'm not going to call Superman. I'm going to call you guys instead. Yeah, kind of weird.
Superman only is called out in the important situations. If you die, then we can get Superman to avenge you.
You had Dr. James Bond,
For
Dr.
real.
Fate.
I don't care what his character was. I'm like, fuck yeah, Pierce Brosnan. It's nice to see you in a movie. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, he's been working. He's been in a lot of great movies since James Bond. And
But I like him in the expensive suits and the Bentleys and just the slick. Just I love me some slick Pierce Brosnan, man.
yeah, kind of upsetting that his character, at least it appears that he sacrifices himself for the
Well,
good of
how
the
many other
cause.
movies is he in where he can't die? Bond movies. So I mean, I think that's the first time I've seen Pierce Brosnan die on screen.
With that though, like he was probably one of the most liked characters based off of like seeing social media and everything, comparing him, and even some tweets and some posts were saying like, "Oh, he's the Doctor Strange that we should have had." And I was like, I mean,
He is
Cumberbatch
the
is
better
good as
Brit.
Doctor
He is the
Strange.
better. Let's be honest. If you could see a movie with Benedict Cumberbatch in a role, or you could get Pierce Brosnan in a role, which one are you taking?
I mean, for Doctor Strange, he fits. Cumberbatch fits.
I think you could have just put the Doctor Strange outfit on the exact same hair and makeup of Pierce Brosnan, and he would have been fucking awesome. I
Does
think the only
Brosnan
Cumberbatch role I wouldn't want to see Pierce Brosnan in is Smaug.
does Brosnan speak in American accents? I've never heard him not speak in his British
I don't
accent.
know. I have no
So
idea. I don't think it matters.
I don't know. I like Cumberbatch's Doctor Stephen Strange. So, but I like this guy as Doctor James Bond. So I'm
Yeah,
good with that too.
Kent Nelson, old
Kent.
man Kent.
Yeah. Interesting that he can see the future. Very interesting power.
Because he has an alien helmet.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's some kind of infinity helmet.
That's about as much. The Infinity Stones had a much better
It's the
explanation.
helmet of Agamotto, is what it is.
It's like, okay, it's an alien helmet. Tells me the
Mm-hmm.
future.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll go with it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but the music, I want to talk about the music going into
Wait,
the
wait. I'm not
movie.
done with the cast yet.
Okay.
I liked the kid, but we gotta talk about my dude Karim.
Karim was pretty
Karim
cool.
was my dude. And did you notice what Karim was wearing for the majority of the movie?
I did not.
8-ball. He was wearing the David Putty coat. He was wearing the David Putty 8-ball coat from Seinfeld, and I could not have been more about it. Like,
Okay.
yes.
I guess
Yes.
I didn't pick it up. I would have to.
And what a cool, they just integrated him as such good comic relief. And my favorite Karim moment was he sees weird zombie skeletons and he's like, I die from electric. And he's just fucking like, yeah.
That
Like,
was pretty sweet.
it was just like, oh, I like this writing.
I think it was a perfect blend of him being in that movie too, because it wasn't anything like at first when you see his character come on and he's like, I'll stay in. I'll be lookout here. You just think like he's a piece of shit, like right off the bat. At least
No,
that's the vibe that I got.
he's just a happy idiot.
And so until he started playing the music, put in the cassette, I was like, oh, this is fun. This is kind of cool.
He's the Andy Dwyer of this.
For that music though, when he pops in that cassette, like I am not a big fan of popular music or even retro music in movies, but when it's done well, I enjoy it. And I think that's what this movie nailed is they put a good nostalgic song right at the beginning with Smashing Pumpkins Bullet with Butterfly
Yeah.
Wings. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
And then they
just
hit
fun.
some Paint It Black in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they definitely used every possible black reference except they used Back in Black. Like there's a lot of I thought they did. If they didn't, missed opportunity. But I thought that the music was solid except for one scene.
I think it wouldn't have been such a big deal.
No, if not for current events and current psychos. But like I was really, and it didn't ruin the movie for me, but I'm like enjoying this movie. Some rock movies, like the action scenes don't line up great, but this was like the second build up action scene, right? Like, and then they go into fucking Kanye, and I'm just like, oh, somebody regrets that this week.
Yeah. So let's play that game right now. What is the other song that's gonna take its place? And for those that because we didn't really flat out call it, but Kanye West has gone crazy, and he has lost pretty much every single endorsement. And at a point in this movie, one of Kanye's songs comes on, and just like Mark, I also stopped and said like, ooh, this song probably shouldn't have been in the movie.
For a movie that took place in the Middle East.
Yeah, right?
Where is very close to what Israel would be. I'm just like, oh, we didn't this has been in the can for a minute. So if Back in Black isn't in the movie yet, talk about the perfect place to put it in, because that's after he makes the Amanda Waller prison break and says the words and just right.
Yeah, but isn't that just a page out of Iron Man's book where it's
like the fucking like half this movie isn't stolen.
Yeah,
not
but
stolen,
the music
but
itself, you can't just flat out steal the music and put it in there.
Okay, what could we do then?
I don't know. I mean, Back in Black would be a solid choice. But I love the fact that they had the orchestral version of Painted Black by the Rolling Stones, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
So maybe just a orchestral version of something. And that way it could be stolen, but it's just a different arrangement and a different presentation of it. I would be okay with that.
You can't repeat. Come on, don't cop out.
It's not repeating because you can do it in an orchestral sense, just like any other song. You could have done like any 90s song and then put it in like the little slow-mo emo type of version of it to where they do that. So I'm okay with that.
What if they did Black or White with Michael Jackson? Is that the same like off feel? Like, ooh, Michael Jackson.
Pretty sure it doesn't need to be just something with black in the title.
What about Black Betty? Some Ram Jam in there?
Nah.
Ram Jam doesn't fit. What about Fade to Black? Did that. Some Metallica?
I would be okay with Metallica in there. It would have been awesome, like just for. I mean, they use this in a lot of movies, but For Whom the Bell Tolls, you put that in a movie, and it's like any action scene, badass. For Whom the Bell Tolls.
For Whom the Bell Tolls, or the AC/DC Hell's Bells.
Yeah,
but you can't do Hell's Bells because he's not the demon.
But he's not the good guy. He's not the hero.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah, I think that there's an opportunity to upgrade that song.
For any of our listeners,
in a big bad way.
For any listeners tuning in, and let us know what you think that song should be. If you had the ability to change the song for that scene, we want to hear it. But let's talk about some of the other visuals. What did you think of the overall visuals, CGI, the underwater scenes, stuff like that? Like, what was your overall thought on the movie?
I thought it was really good. I thought the they've made up for the shifty upper lip of Henry Cavill in this movie in a big bad way. Like they definitely everything was crisp, I thought.
Did you buy The Rock being like a normal, not even normal, but like a slightly above average physique?
Yeah, it didn't bother me.
Really? I just felt like, huh, that seems a little off. Like the head definitely didn't match the body. Not because of size or anything like that, that I'm picturing The Rock was like jacked, but it was just a little bit off. Not egregious, not Henry Cavill's upper lip egregious,
Hmm.
but yeah, that was like the only thing that I saw that I was like, they could have made that a little bit more believable, or at least had like hid his face more, so that way it was just, there's no argument that, oh, CGI is suffering there. That's my only critique on CGI and the effects.
Yeah, I liked the suit and the way that it was kind of like carbon burning looked like it was solid. And then when he came back with like the gold shin guards and stuff, like that was not poorly done. Like it was all pretty
That
BA.
Yeah, that looked really awesome, and I thought it was really cool that, like, oh, he's slightly more noble and heroic right now, so he's going to come back with like a more pimped out outfit, which is sweet. But I did have a slight problem with the initial outfit. The cutout where it's like a little bit lower towards the back of his neck, and he kind of had the Oscar Mayer hot dog pack on the back of his head anytime there's like a shot from behind.
He already has that though. Like Dwayne's got a
Yeah,
big
but I
old,
wasn't a fan. Like, why do they need to have the neck cut that low around the back? Like, why wouldn't they just have it like a normal shirt or a
because
normal?
that's comic accurate for that character.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah,
kind of
the,
lazy ass
the
artist just?
bro, I can't make that. I don't know. I wasn't alive when that comic came out, Dan.
Jeez.
Finally, something I can say I was not alive when that happened. No, I didn't mind it, and I loved the visuals during the action scenes. The slow mo, the gun time when he's just like,
That was
and
very Zack Snyder. Did you feel that?
a little bit. It was a little bit of a throw, yeah. And all the lightning was very Zack Snyder. Um,
I did like Cyclones. I don't know if this is comic accurate. I don't know the character at all, just like anyone else in this
mhm.
movie. But Cyclone's powers were very cool, and the fact that it was very artistic the way that they shot her
Yeah,
specifically in the character, it made me like that character. It's like, oh man, I like her. I would like to see her in another movie. Just because she seemed like a cool as a cucumber type of character. Nothing ever really phased her. I don't think anyone was remotely afraid or scared of failing in this movie.
except
Right?
the big dude that needed to jump out of the plane.
Right. Like, I
He
mean, but
saw the
other than
Hulk
that,
scene in Ragnarok.
it was just like there's no sense of danger from anything. There's like,
That's
this is a
true.
really tough task. We're gonna have to do this, and so no one like freaked out. No one was like, we can't beat the only one sort of was Adam Smasher, but he wasn't. I don't think he was talking about it as if he was scared. He was just talking about it as like, this is a tall order, guys, but looks like we're gonna have to do it. Let's go smash some atoms.
Yeah, I'm. I don't know. I think that when you've got somebody that tells you you're not going to die because you can see the future, maybe you're just chiller, you know. Um, unless he locks you out of a house and then you got to bash it with your mace.
I
Um,
guess that could be a reason as to why you needed to kill Dr. Fate, because you can't just have that character
you
hanging
can't have
around.
comfortable superheroes. Speaking of comfortable, whatever. What's up with the huge disparity in technology in this movie? Like the bad guys have the Jetsons bikes and the kids on a 1980s Bart Simpson skateboard.
Well, let's remember here. So this is basically Wakanda, except instead of the good people ruling, it's the evil people ruling. So they took all those resources, the Ethereum, whatever the crypto coin, they were mining crypto coins,
Yeah, yeah.
and They came up
The
with this
Doge
awesome
rock.
technology. Yeah. So the Doge Rock, the Ethereum, and pretty sure there's some Bitcoin in there as well too. So they took all that, and that's where they had all the technology. And I was a little bit confused at first because I saw their little speeder bikes, which are like
Yeah,
a
right.
million times better than the Star Wars
Like
ones. I was like,
why
holy shit.
they're definitely interesting.
Yeah. And so, wow, if they're this advanced, who would ever mess with them? And why hasn't like the United Nations stepped in, just be like, hey guys, you can't build that shit. This shit is illegal across like
Right?
everywhere.
No, I agree. It did make sense. And the thing about it, like when the movie first started, I was like, I had a little bit of a Morbius vibe with Black Adam's powers. I'm like,
Yes.
dude is pretty fucking like, so I can just Emperor Lightning you, and instead of you, feeling tasered, you melt.
Yeah.
Like, finish him. That kind of shit.
Flat out
And
disintegrated.
right, yeah, no, bye. And how are we going to balance that? But then they came with all this high end technology and stuff, and they found out that, it's kryptonite to him, which it was really.
But it was a small effect. Like it could
Yeah,
cut
it
him.
wasn't as dramatic as Martha. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I get it.
You can get cut and he could just zap himself and suture his wound or
After he takes a nap, he's got to
yeah.
nap that power up, and then he's got enough static from bad sheets. What did you feel about plot with this? How did you like it? And then how did you feel about the twist?
I didn't really know where this movie was going. I was like, oh wow, Black Adam is going to be the villain for like a good majority of this plot, or not, maybe not a villain, but an antagonist of some sort to the heroes in quotes. The heroes that we've never heard of before that I guess we should be feeling for. But
Oh, that poor
I
birdie.
I didn't I didn't necessarily disagree with where the plot was going. I was just a little bit confused. I'm having a good time throughout the movie. They did a really good job of making sure that the pacing kept up with, to prevent people from being bored or anything like that. So I'm a fan with that. If I'm being entertained, cool.
The pacing of this movie, I think, was better than the pacing of the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like
I would agree with
it kept going, and the first Avengers movie had the same thing, like multiple denouements, right? Multiple hooks in it. I was bought in or locked in for all of these. Those, like halfway through the second one, I'm like, can we just? I get you're doing cool shit. Can we just get to the end of the paddle now?
But would you feel the same way if you knew who those characters were? Like if it was, because remember, like what you just said totally makes sense, and I agree with you.
Yes, because I didn't give a shit about the other characters. I was watching Dwayne, and I wanted to figure out what he was going to do. And I liked the idea of it being kind of an Encino Man twist. Like, dude, you haven't been around. You don't know. And then they give context around why he's staring at the statue, why he keeps saying like, "I'm not the hero. I'm not the hero. I'm not the hero."
Yeah.
And they give
So,
you that, and
but
that
for
was cool.
for the pacing though, that's what I'm saying though, is that this movie could afford to do the pacing that they did because we didn't give a shit about the other people.
That's a good point. Okay, I see what you're saying there, and I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. We didn't really give a shit, so they didn't need it. But that made them not have to do origins for them, which was
Right.
hugely beneficial, right? They gave enough, I thought.
Do you
Which
do you think though that we just don't care because we're not big DC fans? I'm wondering if there's DC
no,
fans out
I
there that are
think
just
we
like
don't. Sorry.
I'm wondering if there's DC fans out there that are just like, oh, I wish I would have heard more about Hawkman. He's my favorite character.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Hawkman.
Couldn't care
No,
less.
I don't think so. I think that we've had enough Suicide Squad type movies to understand the Amanda Waller piece, and that DC's done.
Sure.
DC's written the book on quick introductions to superheroes you're not going to see in the next movie, right? Like that's their move, and they finally figured it out. Though I think that them finally figuring it out is the result of Dwayne hand picking the director and the producers and being the head producer and being like, listen, I make really fucking big movies that make a ton of money and are successful. We're going to use my fucking guys. Don't bring me fucking Joss Whedon. I'll slap the shit out of him. Don't bring me fucking slow-mo 3-hour Electric Man. Like, I'm good. Keep Zack Snyder away from me. I'm going to bring in my dudes. We're going to do this for $7 and we're going to rock it. And I honestly think they did. I loved that they kept giving you more context to make the story more meaningful as you went towards the end. There was one scene that I thought was a little rushed though. And it was kind of a Terminator callback as well. And it was a RoboCop callback. Have you seen the original RoboCop? You remember it?
I have, yeah.
You know what scene I'm talking about?
Not really, no, because I think RoboCop is shit. So that's why
No.
I try not to
So
think
you remember
about it.
in this movie, there's the Clint Eastwood scene.
Yeah.
In the original RoboCop, he's watching the guy with his kid that flips the gun around and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so in this movie, you'd think they'd give it time before they called it back. But like they returned that call immediately.
It was pretty quick.
They cashed that bitch right in. I was like, oh, are they going to tie this in? That would be cool. They did it. Okay, we're a little premature on our, but we're okay. We're okay. It was a little premature Eastwoodization, but I was there for it. Like I was not upset because it told me that somebody with a brain is writing this, not somebody with a God complex. Just.
I was fine. Yeah, I didn't really, I guess because The Rock can do no wrong, right? So we have our list of actors and actresses that can do no wrong, no matter what they're
Escape
in. No
from which mountain, though?
I thoroughly enjoy everything that The Rock is in. The only thing that I did not enjoy was Southland Tales. If you've ever seen that movie with The Rock, it's trying to be smart and clever, and it's just kind of flat out boring and weird.
Dewey doesn't do soft and clever.
Oh man, that's the only movie that I could say that I wasn't a big fan of for him, and I just didn't really enjoy. But other than that, everything else has been cool for him. The Tooth Fairy, love it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it now, right now. You know what? It's just one of those things. And you know what? For any of those Fast and Furious haters, fuck you. Just I enjoy them, and I enjoy them because Hobbs, his character, is just so flat out roided out and ridiculous. It's just awesome. It's just fun.
I haven't watched a new Fast and the Furious movie since the one where they drive through the tunnels to Mexico or from Mexico.
Dude, can we do a retrospective on that? Because I just love those movies. And because they're bad, but some of them are actually pretty good.
I do enjoy the first one. I laugh. I haven't watched the second one in such a long time that I'm scared to watch it because it definitely doesn't hold up. And it's probably absolute dog shit now.
It's still a fun movie.
And Tokyo Drift hurts.
It's not as bad as you would think. That's on my wish list of hoping. But yeah, The Rock can do no wrong. And I feel like, this movie itself, with what it does, the pacing, him as the main character, and yeah, as it unfolds a little bit more throughout the movie, it's like, oh, there is a little bit of depth, as opposed to just, oh, he's this guy that's godlike powers. He's just going to beat some people up. He does that, and he kills them, which is refreshing.
But they give him a tragic backstory, which I'm okay with. I think that gives depth to the character. It's a lot more than they do for Atom Smasher and Cyclone. They just are like, hey, look, they're teenagers. They need to hit on each other the whole time. They're incapable of doing anything but getting big and trying to fuck. And I don't know what's going on here.
They're not capable of being afraid. There's no fear.
God. No fear. She's going to blow him eventually with the wind.
Do you know anything about like the Justice Society? Like what?
Nothing at all.
Is that a thing?
I don't even know. I know you want to know what I know want to know is the thing. Did they so Dwayne Johnson's previous career was what?
um, Wrestling? Is that what you're referring to?
Professional wrestler. One
Okay,
of
yeah,
the most heralded professional wrestlers in history, right?
sure,
Right?
yeah,
Would you agree?
the most
Top five?
electrifying.
The most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Couldn't tell them that this is a fucking DDP. And like, what the fuck are all these people doing? They're gonna like fucking DDP all these people?
The diamond
Come
cutter. You're
on.
right.
They're
I didn't
gonna
even think
diamond
about
cut
that.
these and then they're mining for these weird glowy rocks. And they're doing this. They're throwing their diamonds in the sky. Like, huh?
That is so funny that you mentioned that. I didn't even
I
think about that.
Dwayne didn't say, yo. Or could we get Diamond Dallas Page to make like an appearance in the movie then?
Oh
Like, could he
man,
be in the background doing this? Like, yeah,
he's too busy doing yoga,
he
man.
is. He could have like put his feet behind his head and did this. It would have been awesome.
Oh God.
But
Were
yeah,
there enough wrestling references in this? Because there weren't any besides the DDP thing.
I actually liked the fact that they didn't have him use any signature wrestling moves.
I
Like
liked it when they would sneak
he
into rock
rock.
bottom.
Did you like the fact that he rock bottomed everybody in Fast, Furious, and rock bottomed? That was
Yeah.
that was a little too easy for that to be his signature move. The only other thing that I can say about this and The Rock is I got big at the beginning Scorpion King vibes. I'm like, yo, he's an island boy, son. Why you trying to make him from the Fertile Crescent? Like, come on, that's Maui, not King Tut, bro.
I wonder if there's anyone that's kind of upset about that because I don't know what if there is an ethnic background for Black Adam, and is he from like the Euphrates or anything like
I
that?
I have no idea. I know that Hawkman was white in the comics, at least at the beginning. So I think one, I loved the actor that did it, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. I think that the movie is pretty inclusive. I actually like the idea that it's going on in the Middle East, and then they have a hero. Like, I'm all about that. I
Oh, that
actually
is, yeah.
really enjoyed it from that perspective, and think that one, the movie's going to do awesome overseas, and two, like, good for like if you didn't know there was another place that The Rock could build his brand, right? Like fucking nuts. But I really enjoyed it. No problem with the premise, no problem with any of the Tet Adam pieces. But the one thing that was weird to me though was they brought out the devil from Pick of Destiny and made him a main character. Like, when did the devil become a character in Marvel? Like, full on devil.
Oh,
Full
there's been
on devil.
in Marvel, there's plenty of
There's
devil.
Mephisto, but this is fucking cloven, hoofed, horned Satan.
I wanted to talk about my favorite cameo that I totally went from 6 to midnight, and that's Amelia Harcourt, played by Jennifer Holland. So, you have not seen Peacemaker, the TV series yet, correct?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
So she is a big character in that TV series, and when I saw her, I was like, "Oh, that's so awesome!" And I was hoping that she was going to be in it a little bit more, but no, unfortunately not. And Peacemaker, really great TV show, really great characters, a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this, I think you have to watch that. I think you'll have to check it
Okay.
out. Jennifer Holland's Harcourt character is really awesome because she plays like this big badass on Peacemaker. And what I was under the impression of is that in that TV show, and I'm trying not to spoil it for you, there is like a falling out with her and Waller, from what I remember. And so it's interesting to see that she's kind of working back with Waller. But Waller is fucking powerful, and maybe, she turns some stuff around. But yeah, really cool stuff to see her. And let's talk about the most important cameo really quick, and that's Henry Cavill as Superman.
Oh, bro, like the the music got me. The fact that they did it, the fact that they took the OG Superman music and put it in there.
It was pretty sweet, and I don't know much about him and Black Adam working together or fighting or
I
whatever.
did do some Googling.
Okay, good.
Um,
I've gotten really lazy in my old age, and yeah, I don't really care to Google stuff anymore. I just throw out the question, kind of like what we used to do. Like if we didn't know something, we just ask a question, and so that's what I'm all about now. I'm regressing as I get older.
yeah, there were a few comic like run-ins with the two, early and late,
Okay.
early and more recently. There's some rankings and stuff to him, but there's newer stuff and older stuff, I'd say. Um, it kind of got revived for that, the video game that came out, Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Okay.
They added a Black Adam character to that, but the character does not look like The Rock. Like full head of
Right.
hair
Yeah.
with the vampire receding hairline on top. Like,
Yeah, like the extreme widow's peak where it's like a
yeah,
geometric shape for the
it
hairline.
very much so. And that's the standard Black Adam look. With some pointy Namor ears.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that they got The Rock to play him and just let him kind of do whatever. But I I cannot say that this movie would have been better with a different lead character or with a different lead actor. I,
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
I
happy with it. I was happy with him as a character and kind of seeing just the culmination of, oh, Superman's there. You see him. And at the time, you didn't know it was Henry Cavill. And then he comes on stage and it's like, whoa, yeah, all
well,
right.
you
Henry
knew
Cavill's
when
back.
she said we've got somebody from off this planet. I'm like, oh, it's coming. Cause I knew it was coming. I sat there,
Well, yeah, but
everybody in
you
the
also
theater knew
knew
it was
that
coming.
Henry Cavill was back.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the difference. Like, just imagine being there like opening night for like the first few showings and not knowing any of this stuff, and then it's like, oh, holy shit, he's back! Like, I can't believe it, they got him. And so then the next day he went on social media, and even The Rock posted up something on Instagram and Twitter, I think, saying like, "Hey, we worked. Him and his ex-wife worked really hard to get Cavill back," which is crazy because if that's the case, then the entire time that he's been working on this movie, he was just thinking like, "You better fucking keep Cavill in as Superman because I want to have a throwdown with him." And then the fact that they had the falling out and I must have misheard or read like a false headline. I thought Cavill was going to be Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four. I saw a
I mean, he
leak,
still could be.
a leak from D23, and I guess that's incorrect because I also saw uh, John Krasinski as Reed Richards confirmed, but apparently that's not accurate. That cameo, and probably one of the best end credit scenes for the DCEU. The only one that I can think that was slightly better was the Wonder Woman, and I wouldn't even say it's better because it wasn't as huge, but the Wonder Woman Linda Carter callback was pretty
Oh
sweet. I
yeah,
like
okay.
that. That was
You're talking about post credit scenes. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I agree. I agree. Again, like you give me the music or you just hit me with the full package there. It's just like, oh, because when's the last time we saw him as Superman?
It was in that 4-hour cut of the Justice League,
He was so excited to play The Witcher when he
and
got
he's
that
gone from
part,
that.
and
Yeah,
he's hung it up.
yeah.
Um, so I like Henry Cavill. I just think he's a cool person. So I'm all about it. More excited for multiple Henry Cavill Superman movies or Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman?
Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman. I mean, is that even close?
I don't know, man. You do a couple, like 2 good movies versus one that could go either way.
Oh, so you're saying like a bunch of Henry Cavill movies versus one Deadpool
He signed
movie?
a 3-movie deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think because Wolverine is Wolverine, and Hugh Jackman, he's the guy. And when you say that you're hanging up the claws, you're never coming back, and then you come back, that in itself is going to
So
just
you
be
like it when
way
people
more.
Michael Jordan it?
I'm okay with it because you know what? When you're that damn good, I'll see. He could say, "Hey, you know what? I had really fun on this last Deadpool movie, but I really am done this time." And then he comes back, and I'll go back out and watch it again. So I'm fine with that.
Have you heard the rumors that Daniel Radcliffe is actually going to take up the mantle?
I've heard that.
And
I've
that's why he's
heard
so jacked in the Weird Al movie?
I've heard him, Taron Egerton,
Mm-hmm.
or not Taron Egerton. Is it Taron Egerton?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, Taron Egerton because he's the guy from Kingsman. So yeah, I kind of hope he's the one to play it. But I mean, I guess I'd be okay with Radcliffe, but it's kind of weird going from Harry Potter to Wolverine. You know,
I mean, it's kind
not
of weird going from Doogie Howser to How I Met Your Mother, but
no, it's
NPH did
not.
it.
It's both TV shows. You know, like
Mm.
it was
It's
it was
both
a weirder
movies.
it was a weirder step to see him as Doogie Howser to going to Neil Patrick Harris in the Harold and Kumar movies. It's a weirder step.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
That was excellent.
Yeah, that's it, man. I had a really good time in the movie. Oh, but the twist with the twist and The Rock not being the hero that is in the statue. So did you see
Hmm.
that coming at all?
No, did you? Like,
No.
I knew at the beginning that the dad was The Rock. I just thought, like, my dad's my hero, so I look like my dad, or some dumb shit like that. Or,
Yeah.
he looks kind of similar or something, right? I did not expect it to be his son. And then his son was murdered because he just tried to save his dad. And then it wasn't a battle between them. He just got fucking crazy mad and melted everybody to shit.
Yeah.
Like, it just stacked up so much into this anti-hero column. Loved it. Could not have loved it more. Loved it. It was different. We talked about a lot of callbacks in this movie. A lot of, oh, that's from Terminator. That's from RoboCop. Oh, hasta la vista, baby. But this was it felt original. For the first time in a while, it felt fairly original.
I'm gonna disagree. You want to know why?
Oh, yes, I do want to know why.
Because we saw a movie that had a similar twist just recently, and it was Sylvester Stallone's Samaritan.
No, nobody likes Samaritan, though.
But is
Samaritan
it that's the truth, man? Like that's a twist I saw coming, but I did not see this twist coming in this
yeah.
movie. But how can we not talk about Sly
I wish we
Stallone in
couldn't.
Samaritan?
I wish we could just let it be. I wish that I could have. I want my $8 back. To quote the Kevin Smith animated Clerks episode, I want my $8 back. Even though I already I would love Hulu to reimburse me or Amazon to reimburse me for that month.
But this movie was a lot better. And anything else that you want to talk about or you think that we missed?
Are you excited for a sequel?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that I need to see more of Black Adam with Superman, but I don't care about the Justice Society. I don't. I didn't dislike them. I actually enjoyed the fun, the fun little scenes that they had, and I like their characters for the most part. They did get rid of my favorite character, which was Dr. James Bond, but other than that, I don't know if I really am invested to see them. I guess I'm not opposed if they show up as supporting ancillary characters down the
Hmm.
road. But if I'm going to see Black Adam again, I want to see him with Superman or something to that effect, like another big name. Because
Hmm.
other than that, I don't want to see a Black Adam with the other people.
Yeah, I think the problem is it's gonna be a while.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna be almost too long before we see another one because DC isn't in the Marvel sense of bringing everybody together. Like the new Shazam movie is going to come out. I don't think they're going to reference Black Adam in the new Shazam movie, or
They
I
really
would be
should.
surprised. They
They should
should, but
though, because
th-
they had that open seat in Shazam. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Shazam's character is called Shazam. And I didn't know that Black Adam also said Shazam to get his powers. But where's what do the other siblings call themselves? Like I'm now I'm a little bit more confused as to the superpower family.
no idea. I think they all say Shazam, and they're like purple Shazam and green Shazam. But
That kind of that, but Black Adam has his own name. That's kind of lame.
yeah,
That's kind of yeah. I need some more explanation on that in the future. I'm okay with how they talked about it now, but I think I've got more questions leaving this movie, and it's probably because I actually liked it. You know, if I didn't care about it, I wouldn't have any questions. I would just complain about it. Here we go.
I would want a Marvel level continuation where they had like a large scale threat, but I don't know that he fits in with the rest of the superheroes. Like the reason that Justice League worked is because Superman overpowered everybody by so much. And you get two of those people in there and it just kind of, it goes a little bit too much. I think this is good in the way that it is, but with what they've got kind of in the hopper, right? The new Shazam movie, the new Aquaman movie, the Flash movie that I just hope comes out because I want to see Michael Keaton in a bat suit again. Blue Beetle's coming out in 23
Which
in
is so
August.
weird. So
Yeah.
weird. Let's just pick a color and a random insect, and we'll come out with a movie, and we'll just pitch it to DC as their superhero.
Well, they made a comic about it first, right?
Well, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, then they're doing another Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, and they're supposed to do another Batman. I know they're doing a HBO Max series about the Colin Farrell Penguin character,
Yep.
and technically they're supposed to do another Wonder Woman.
With James Gunn now being the head of the DC movies, I wonder if some of that stuff might get reworked, or if he's a pretty smart guy. He can figure it out. I won't say he's like Kevin Feige level, but at the same time, I think he will make me want to see DC movies if he is orchestrating everything. Because
I
I
think
just
they'll get better, but that won't happen until 2025. I think James Gunn might be able to come in and flush some of it, but I don't know. Like
you know
he's such a controversial bring in because he's had problems before where Feige's very clean.
yeah, but with his movies and his way that he really thinks things out for his movies. Just like Guardians, I'm really interested to see the Guardians holiday special and then the third Guardians movie because they're all intertwined some way. He's
You mean the last
very
Guardians movie?
well, yeah, yeah. The way that he kind of orchestrates everything and kind of plans things out, like there's thought that goes into it. It's not just let's shit out another DC movie. I am if I'm going to ask for anything from DC, it's just like let's just go into Peacemaker hardcore and just keep on bringing more of him because I love that character. I love the supporting characters in that show, and I'll be happy if they come up with like just additional seasons of Peacemaker. I really would. It doesn't even have to be a movie. Although I
Cena
would
will
love
do it
to
all
see
day
him.
long.
I would love to see it on the big screen. But yeah, I'm just, for the first time, give me that type of TV show on a consistent basis, and I'm good for it.
I might have to watch it now.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Here's the real question. We've really given the most positive DC review I think we've ever given. But can you do this movie all day?
That's a tough one because it really has been the best DC discussion that we've had in a long, long time. And well, and the existence of this podcast, I think, right?
I'd agree.
And I love The Rock. He can do no wrong. I love the entertainment of this movie. And I had a good time. I flat out just had a good time. Would I rewatch it again? Yeah, probably. I would probably rewatch it again, and I would have no problem with saying, like, to my kids, like, hey, do you guys want to watch Black Adam? Let's watch it again. There would really be no problem. But to say that I can do this all day, but I think it's a yes. So yes, I can do this all day. It was just too much fun. It really was, and it's quotable. There's fun moments, and the nostalgia. You hit that nostalgia factor with the music. Very well executed. You even hit the more recent of nostalgia with some of the cameos. You got the hardcore cameo that was like I was really happy about. You got the Cavill cameo that I'm ecstatic about, and I'm really just to see where that goes. And Waller, Viola Davis is Amanda Waller, back in that character. Like, holy shit, you've got a stacked cameo presence and a pretty solid, fun movie. So I will say it's not the strongest of days that I can do this all day for, but it's there. So yes, I can do this all day. Mark, what about you? Can you do this all day?
I want to watch it again. Yeah. I don't think there's any movie that I watch with the same repetitiveness that my son will watch, like Toy Story, right? I don't watch as many movies repetitively as I used to. I did, you'll be happy to know, get my Halloween viewing of Rocky Horror in this year. But I definitely think that this is a movie that I enjoyed and I would be game to watch again. I went and saw it in the theater by myself, so I'm excited to watch it with my wife, see what her kind of thoughts are on it. But I think that this is definitely a movie that I could watch a few times and enjoy it, right? Like, and I don't think it will age poorly either. Like, I think it's something that I'll be able to do all day.
As we go into almost like our holiday season, we will be back with a few more episodes with some superhero themes, and we'll have a little bit of holiday fun as well. But until next time, I'm Dan, the part-time adventurer. That's Mark, the resident Jedi.
Like, subscribe, hit us up on everything Elon doesn't own. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. If you got a tweet at us and let us know what you thought about Black Adam, if you could do this movie all day, and any other movies that you think were referenced in this that we might have missed. Love to hear from y'all. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, download, comment. We'll see you next time.